China's record-breaking heat wave, which lasted more than 2 months, has finally begun to ease. But the power shortages that came with the searing temperatures have raised questions about the region's heavy reliance on hydropower and China's ambitions to end its use of fossil fuels. Special correspondent Patrick Falk reports from the city of Chongqing.
A cool breeze returns to the city of Chongqing, and so too have fishermen to the banks of the Yangtze River. Chongqing native chai is just one of the many that have come to soak up the calmer conditions.
Now that it's rained and the temperature has come down, I decided to come outside. It's been suffocating at home.
Many people here took cover indoors over the past 2 months. Chongqing was one of the regions hardest hit by China's recent heat wave, with mercury levels topping 40 degrees Celsius. That's 104 Fahrenheit every day for 2 straight weeks. The searing temperatures brought intense drought, killing crops and causing wildfires that ripped through Chongqing's outlying mountainous districts. It also sucked dry stretches of the Yangtze and its offshoots. Hard-baked, cracked earth was all that was left in some parts. Asia's longest river is a water source for about 600 million people. Its flow fuels much of China's extensive hydropower infrastructure, including the world's largest energy plant, the Three Gorges Dam. But the country's worst drought in 60 years recently caused a 50% reduction in daily hydropower generation. Jinghan Wu is a climate and energy activist for Greenpeace based in Beijing.
I think what it's revealed is problems on 2 fronts. The first around the different ways that electricity is generated, and the second on the usage.
Southwestern China is particularly reliant on hydropower. Sichuan province, for instance, gets 80% of its energy from it. Scorching temperatures drove demand to run air conditioners, piling pressure on a system already starved of its natural power source. As part of efforts to ration electricity usage, major manufacturers like Tesla and Toyota, with plants in southwestern China, had to suspend operations. Authorities also restricted mall operating hours in Chongqing, only allowing them to open for 5 hours every day.
It was pretty inconvenient. Before, if you went and got groceries and had to carry large bags, it was quite hot. And if you were going upstairs, you could take the escalator, but if you wanted to go down, you had to walk, which was annoying sometimes. A lot of elderly people were worried about falling.
Still, Chongqing student Jiang Zhuoyu says many people and businesses are pitching in to try and help conserve, even now as the heat wave has begun to ease. She's come to study here at a fast food restaurant to avoid using the AC at home. The section she sat in has lights switched off when it's less busy. Recent unpredictable weather is keeping people in Chongqing on alert.
It's still not as it is normally. Right now it should be wet season, but the water levels are still quite low, so I'm still a bit worried.
Authorities aren't taking chances either. Well, you can see there are lots of efforts going in to try and save energy and to address this power crunch. So here on underground trains, aircon temperatures are being dialed higher and lights are being dimmed. So you can see here that every other light is switched off right now. But these really are just stopgap measures that only help to alleviate the problem in the short term. In the long term, southwestern China may need to rethink its reliance on hydropower. Extreme weather events have become a threat to this clean energy resource.
The power cuts revealed the problems around coordinating the use of different sources of power generation and the need for more long-term systematic planning and improvements in the entire energy grid. This is more important than looking at any one energy source alone.
But many environmentalists fear policymakers may resort to burning more fossil fuels like coal to meet the country's energy demands and to reduce the risk of energy crunches brought on by extreme conditions. Thermal plants in southwest China fired on all cylinders to generate as much power as possible in response to recent shortages.
There are indeed discussions needed around how to balance short and long-term problems. In addition to the construction of new energy projects, I think energy regulators also need to look at how to adjust the overall consumption of power, because it's consumption that would directly impact carbon emissions. If you make plans around peaking emissions or other concrete development goals based on consumption, you'll have a much clearer direction.
Still, unpredictable weather-related events blamed on climate change cast uncertainty over the country's energy infrastructure. China has pledged to go carbon neutral by 2060, but it says emissions won't peak till 2030, a target many environmentalists think isn't aggressive enough to meet its long-term green goals. Any shift in the balance back to relying more on coal could make it even harder to achieve them. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Patrick Falk in Chongqing, China.